Alright guys, I got my pipes done. I had to make a bracket. Actually, I made 3 brackets before that. And, the first 2 brackets, no, that's right, I made 3 brackets, and they were all no good, so the 4th one was a winner. Let me show you the brackets. Matter of fact, I got done about 5 minutes ago. So, my very first idea was this bracket here. This bolts to the transmission, and then it's going to bend around and then bolt itself on to the center of the pipes. I just didn't like the look of it, and it was just too hard. You see, I had to bend the aluminum a little bit, and it just didn't look right. So I decided to bolt the bracket to the transmission, because what I did was I was looking at a K9. Not that I'm thinking of buying a K9, but I was looking at a K9 big dog for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and he had the 2-into-1. The big blowpipes were like the collector was real big, and he had a bracket that was bolted onto the transmission. That's right. I thought to myself, well, that's okay. It's okay to do. You know, it looked good. It looked like it belonged there. So I decided to make a bracket where I was going to weld a stud onto the inner pipe, and then it would bolt onto this. So I'm thinking to myself at work, you know what? Why don't I just go for the gusto and make a bracket to connect onto both pipes? Because the one pipe was touching the inner one, and the inner pipe was touching that hub on the actuator cover. So then I came up with this. This is my 3rd design, bolting onto the transmission, come out a little farther, and I didn't like it. And then I thought of the idea to have a bracket bolting onto both pipes. So what I did was instead of welding the stud on instead of welding the bolt on to the underneath of the pipes, I welded a nut onto the underneath of the pipes. And I made the bracket coming out to bolt onto both pipes, and with some adjusting it worked out. Let me show you guys. I replaced the 2 bolts with button heads. Those are 15/16 with 18 turns per linear inch. That's what those bolts are. Those fasteners. They're 15/16 with 18 threads per linear inch. And that is polished. It'll be a little bit more shinier once I get my hands on some 3M or some others. And see my little indentation there for the clutch cable. It isn't right on, but that's good enough. And we got everything on. I also had to make a bracket for the center here too, because the connections weren't lining up. So I had to make this, and these are also 15/16 button heads, and that's polished, as you can see my reflection. And then I had to bend it a little bit because the connections are staggered. So that works out. And let me show you guys the underneath. And there's the underneath of it. So we got button heads here. Welded, I don't know if you guys can see the nuts. The nuts are welded. I think I'll be okay with the cable, because this is stainless steel braided. I mean, the bracket will get hot. Not as hot as the pipes, but aluminum transfers the heat, so it might burn the vinyl here a little bit. And she's solid. It is solid. The view from the side, you know, the bracket looks like it belongs there. There we go. So you can see that is the bracket is a little shiny. It'll get shinier once I get my mother's guys. Now the bracket on the K9 on Facebook is similar to that. But what the guy did, instead of bolting it onto both fasteners, he just has the upper fastener bolting on to the bracket. But the bracket's similar to that. So that's where I got the idea. And I put a curve in it so that it looks like it's an extra part, like it belongs there. It's a modified part. You know, and see, nothing's touching. Everything's a good distance away from everything. Where before those two pipes were touching, they won't sag. I mean, these guys are solid now. They are solid. You know, and another thing I was thinking of is with all the holes around here, if I didn't have a bracket, if I didn't have that bracket on there, I hit a hole, I might break my exhaust flange studs. So, you know, that's a lot better like that. That's sturdy. And it looks like it's a store-bought part. So they're nice and lined up. And there you go. That took me probably about 3 days to make those parts. See, then we got that cover bracket there. That doesn't even matter. I mean, the pipes are solid without that, but I had to have something there to cover that up. You know, I don't know if you guys can see the bolts up in there. They're hard to see. I also turned my clamps around too. I had these clamps on this pipe. I have them pointed in, so that way there I could take them off without a lot of hassle. You know, if you get these heat shields, just make sure that your screws are facing out. That way you could take these off. And it's all done. Motorcycle, guys, eats up a lot of time, man. It just, you know, I'll be honest with you, part of me still wants to sell this. I have this for sale right now for $11,500. I'd probably take $10,000 for it. Just because the fact that it's eating up a lot of time, a lot of my time. And I could do a lot more to my house with 10 grand, with another 10,000 bucks. You know, I understand. Look at my hands. I understand. I'll never have another one of these again. I actually got my blood on that bike from cutting my hands up. I got cuts all over my hands from forming that fucking aluminum. You know. But the especially a motorcycle like this, a custom bike, it just eats up and eats and eats and eats and eats and eats up time. So we got all these we got 3 brackets here. Yeah, I'm all out of mothers. I'm all out of 3M. I should have ordered the shit. It's so messed up around here in these stores. You walk in a store asking if there's any aluminum polish, and there was some guy came in and bought all of it. That's how it is. This is why I order everything off fucking Amazon. So yeah, I think those pipes turned out pretty damn good like that. So it was actually 29 degrees here last night. So I think it's supposed to warm up a little bit. Maybe I'll get this out tomorrow. I'll finally be able to let you guys hear what these pipes sound like out in the road, because in the garage, that last video I did of these in the garage, man, it does it no justice whatsoever. These are a lot better sounding, and the nice thing about these is there's almost no popping. Where on the other 2 pipes I had, there was popping. There's almost no popping on this because they're step tuned. They got a real nice sound to them. And yes, they're a little bit louder than the Vance and Himes. I still don't have an offer on a fucking Vance and Hines. I got the Vance and Hines on Facebook for sale for $200 lousy fucking dollars. Not one fucking person has offered me anything for them. So they're going to just sit in my garage and sit and collect dust. So take care.